Good morning, family, and welcome to our official pre-show. We're so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us for Wednesday night Bible study. We hope you got a good word as we're into our identity series and just discovering who we are through faith in the transformation of identity. And so today we are here. We want to connect. We want you to make sure you share this video. We want to make sure you follow us on social media at TPHFW. Share. The more you share, the more attraction that we get, because we have some exciting things and some exciting content that is always coming your way. And so this morning, before we get right into it, we want to make sure that you register for EduFest. It's October 29th on Saturday, October 29th, from the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. over at TCC Trinity River College. And so we want to make sure you get that information. Don't be afraid to register. It is free at www.tphfw.org. I am Chelsea Williams, your digital content manager.
And I am Topaz Thornton. I am your Director of Connections. And we have today, because we are kicking off Hispanic Heritage Month, such an amazing month. And we have here with us today none other than Anette Landeros, who is the President and CEO of our Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So, Mrs. Landeros, just tell us a little bit about who you are and your role as President and CEO of our Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to connect with all of you as well. So I am the President and CEO, as mentioned, of the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. What we are, folks that don't know and are not familiar with what a Chamber of Commerce is, it's a membership organization for businesses to be able to just access resources that can help them start their business, expand their business, or create connections to grow their business as well. And it's a wonderful organization. We also, even though we are a membership organization, we consider ourselves a resource to the community. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the folks that we help aren't even members, but we figure if we're helping folks as they're growing their business, when they're in a position to join the chamber, then they will. But it's just a wonderful job. I'll say I've been in this role since July of 2019, so it's been 3 years. And entrepreneurs are a special breed, and there's nothing more energizing to just really be surrounded by dream chasers and go-getters that are willing to, to really work hard, take on the risk to just make their dreams come true. And so it's so exciting to see them as they're growing and they're reaching new milestones, or be able to help them. Maybe they've hit a tough spot and we can help them overcome that. It's just a wonderful, energizing organization to be a part of.
Amazing. I have a question, because you talked about that being that presence in the community and serving the community. So how has serving your community in this way impacted your life?
I will say that doing this work, especially through the pandemic, we all know that, in February, March of 2020, our whole world was shocked. Yeah. Our whole economy was shocked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And small business owners were at the forefront of really trying to figure out how to navigate that. And so what I feel like that the work that we're able to do in touching businesses, sometimes businesses are seen as just an entity, a building. Mm-hmm. You assume that there's, rich people at the top that are making all the decisions. And that's just not the case. Businesses are families. Sometimes, multiple family members are dependent on the success of the business because they're all invested. They're employers. So not only are they worried about the well-being of their family, but the well-being of the families of their employees. So there was just a lot of emotional turmoil during that time, but we all came together to encourage each other to pivot, to overcome, and to not give up. And I will say that what I have been able to witness and what I've gained in doing this type of service in the community is just a greater love for humanity, and knowing that there were so many businesses that were supporting each other during this time, just making sure that nobody felt alone. So it's been wonderful. I will say that even though the pandemic brought, some very sad and difficult times, there were several silver linings that we were able to celebrate and say, like, oh my gosh, thank goodness our whole community got together and worked together and supported each other and were able to survive.
So this is Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah.
And so excited about that. But I know everyone has their own expression of how they celebrate and honor, this amazing time in the Hispanic culture. So what does it mean to you personally? Like from childhood to now, like what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I always, as a child, I knew Hispanic Heritage Month was a time that we we celebrated, we went to parties, you wore your, maybe your country of origin, mine family being from Mexico, your Mexican dresses and things like that. I always associated it as a child with bright colors and flowers and food and music, and just really a source of pride. And it really, I will say, that has magnified over the years. My parents are both immigrants from Mexico, and so that biculturalism and that experience of having family both in Mexico and the United States. I would say that I was actually just sharing with some folks today that there's a saying in Spanish that of no somos de aquí, no somos de allá, which means that basically, like, we're not from here, but we're also not from there. That was always a statement of, honestly, a little bit of displacement and sadness of we're not accepted here fully and we're not accepted there fully because we're not from there anymore. I will say that now I think that our country has started to really become the melting pot that we've always said we were. And I think that now I say I'm from here and I'm from there too. You know what I mean? Because I carry that culture within me, and that pride. And I think that culture is something that we should be really, really, sharing with everyone.
Right.
I want to learn about your culture as much as I want you to learn about mine as well. So I would say this month is a month of pride, but of sharing culture. It's not just a time where, the Hispanic community gets to have parties. We want to have parties and welcome everyone to come be part of it.
Inclusive.
Yeah, inclusiveness and sharing of culture is how we're going to gain greater understanding of each other and appreciation of each other as well. So we're hoping to share the beauty and the flavor and the spirit of our culture in hopes that our neighbors will do the same for us. So that's what we're trying to accomplish.
I absolutely love that because I do believe there are some of those misconceptions out there about what this means, to the Hispanic community, because in all actuality, we're not actually from here or there either. We all have a blend, from our countries of origin. However, how can people of other races and cultures and backgrounds and ethnicities really honor and celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month without being offensive? If we can just be real, right?
Yeah.
Without being offensive, but actually come alongside and help celebrate the beauty, of the culture.
I would say just attend all of the events. There's a lot of events that are going out in Fort Worth specifically, we have paired up with Visit Fort Worth, and they have a whole page dedicated to Hispanic Heritage Month, where all the event listings are going to be there of everything going on, and we welcome and hope that everyone will participate. But I know, especially DFW Metroplex being, a metroplex of municipalities, I've seen, celebrations in South Lake, I've seen them in Benbrook, I've seen them in Forest Hill. So every community is having something. I would say go and support your neighbors. Try it out. You know what I mean? I was really lucky and benefited from my mother, who was always reading the newspaper and reading about festivals of other communities. We used to go to the Jewish Center to observe different types of holidays. We used to go to the Greek festival. So for me, that's always been of interest. And so I would encourage others to do the same. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Go, participate, enjoy, bring your kids, tell them about it, say, isn't this beautiful? Yeah. And then also invite us to yours. Yeah. So that way we can share and truly embrace each other.
Absolutely.
That is truly, amazing. And then you talked about, like, even your mom and your kids, and how even as you were a child, your mom brought you to different things. I think that's so important for just cultural diversity and education as well. But as you are a mom and now expecting another,
there's another one here. Yeah.
What are some of the Hispanic traditions that you wish to pass down to your kids? Like, are there any new traditions you wish to pass down? Any old traditions that you're still doing and you want to pass down? Like, what are some of those? Tell us about.
I would say that right now we're in like the kids book season, right? Because we read every night.
Wow.
And so we'll definitely utilize our public library. Your best resource in town is always your public library. And they do a good job of choreographing like displays of whatever's going on for that month. So like when it's Black History Month, they have a whole display for that. So we're learning constantly through reading and talking about it. He's only 2.5, but he's read a lot, and we're really proud of that. But in terms of culture, I would love, and we're gonna try to gear him that way. But if he doesn't like it, then he won't. But for him to take on something like ballet folklorico, the traditional dances,
I love
or
that.
if he wanted to be a little mariachi, how cute would that be?
I love it.
Of course, we can't force them all the time, but that would make mommy really happy. And the tradition that I remember, and it's really important to our family, is really at Christmas time. Making tamales was always and is still very much a big family tradition.
Okay.
It's where our entire family, it used to be only the women that and we actually never allowed men. And it'd be like, no, just the women. We'd all get together and we'd make tamales because it's kind of a labor-intensive process. But it was just a time for us to laugh, you know what I mean, and have that sisterhood a time in the kitchen. My grandmother passed away this year actually, and so now it's up to her children and the grandkids to keep that going because she was always the matriarch of that. So we're very committed to keeping that going, and hopefully he'll grow up with decades of memories making tamales at Christmas that I did. So that's the one I hope to really pass on.
That'll be interesting. That'll be cool. Just so he can pass it down to his generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll come back in about 100 years and say, "Where are the tamales?"
We may need. I know. We may need some like YouTube videos because Grandma used to be the instructor too, but we'll figure it out.
Yes. We love YouTube University.
Listen,
yes,
you get everything you need. But because we are here at Casa Azul Coffee, as you all can kind of see, tell us about your business. Sort of, what was your inspiration behind getting it started, and just tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. So I think it was about 2 years after being president and CEO of the chamber. The idea was, no pun intended, but already brewing in my husband's mind to start a coffee shop. And I'll be honest with you that before taking over the chamber, I wasn't as enthusiastic about small business or him starting a small business because of the risk and the costs associated. But once I joined the chamber and I was surrounded by people who were just going for it, I thought, okay, we just need to go for it. And that's when it kicked things into really high gear. But my husband and I own Casa Azul Coffee in the north side of Fort Worth. And so this has been a labor of love for the last 3-ish years, going from putting together a business plan, finding, the financial pathway to make it happen, to finding a home here, to renovating, to finally opening in November of last year. So we're not quite at a year. But the idea behind Casa Azul Coffee was to bring coffee to the historic north side of Fort Worth where there were no coffee shops. Okay. But also understanding that the historic north side is a Latino neighborhood, a traditionally Latino neighborhood, with a very strong history. We decided that it would be a Latino-inspired coffee shop. So the flavors of our coffee, aside from, we've got everyone's favorite, like vanilla lattes and stuff like that. But what we do offer that makes us different is we have nostalgic flavors of our culture. So like a tres leches latte, which is a cake. We made it into a latte. We have a mazapan, which is actually a Mexican candy. We made that into a latte. We have a Mexican mocha. We have café de olla, which is a traditional coffee drink that is enjoyed in Mexico and then other countries as well. We have a churro, which, folks know what churros are, a churro latte. So that's really kind of what our specialty coffees lean into. But the space in itself also reflects our culture. We want it to feel like a home. I always said like a little, an abuelita's house, a grandma's house, where you feel comfortable. It's modest. And it's inviting, and anyone can feel comfortable here. We are a family atmosphere where you can bring your children. You can sit inside or outside, and really it's just been a wonderful journey to watch the community embrace our coffee shop, and to watch families come and spend time off of their phones having a conversation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it's been wonderful to watch. Yeah.
And really good. And just a plug, if you all can get here, please do so. It is amazing. I know I had the churro latte myself, and it was divine. Very, very much just giving ideas back to my time. I spent some time in Costa Rica, and it just always kind of takes me back to that time. And so, but then, what all do you all have as far as, we talk about community and the community just kind of coming in and garnering a sense of just being home, right? And so what all do you all have with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce that are coming up, or events that we can attend?
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone is interested in connecting with our chamber, I always tell them that our monthly coffee with the chambers are the best way. Mm-hmm. One, they're free. They're actually very, there's not a lot of programming because it's really just about meeting people. So it's easy to jump right in. You don't feel like you're like behind because a lot of folks come in and out. And that's a good way just to check out our members. And we'll be there and just get to know everybody. So we're having, we'll have those on our website all the time, once a month, whenever you can make it. That's where I would plug in there. But in terms of big events that are still coming up this year, the biggest is our Hecho in Fort Worth Gala. That's going to be on October 8th. At the Fort Worth Convention Center. We're expecting anywhere from 800 to 1,000 people to come together. So basically our end of year celebration where we give awards acknowledging Businesswoman of the Year, Businessman of the Year, Business of the Year. And the importance behind that is really to share a spotlight, create a stage that highlights these businesses that have been working really hard. And for a lot of them, we just notified the winners actually. A few cried. For them, it's you're so busy trying to stay afloat that you never notice that other people are noticing you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so to take that intentional time to be celebrated is really important for us. And so we're excited. That's going to be, it's called Hecho in Fort Worth, Made in Fort Worth, which is a statement of saying that we're proud of everything made in our city. We're proud of our contributions to our city. And so we're really excited. So we invite everyone to join us.
That's amazing.
Yes. And we'll have all that information too on our in our description for this video.
Wonderful. And so we just want to thank you so much for just your time and your labor of love for being with us to help us honor the rich tradition of Hispanic Heritage Month. And so we want to share with our audience, how can we connect with you from the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber aspect, but also through your business? How can we connect with you and so we can support you, come out, and just really immerse ourselves in the Hispanic community?
Yeah, well, if anyone ever wants to connect with the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I would say, of course, visit our website, which will have a full listing of everything that's going on, because we have webinars, we have seminars, we have all the things that you need. And that's at www.fwhcc.org. And what's actually funny is that we're right around the corner for each other, so it's like right there. So you can come to the north side and visit Casa Azul Coffee at 300 West Central Avenue, and just enjoy. And if you want, stop by the chamber around the corner or give us a call and just say, hey, I'd like to get involved. What's the best way? Anyone on our team would be happy to welcome everyone. Oh, the other thing I have to say is you do not have to be Hispanic to join the Hispanic Chamber. That is a misconception that we tell everyone. We have so many non-Hispanic members. And so it's really just a wonderfully energetic network to be a part of.
And also, Cafe Azul is on Facebook.
Yes,
Right?
you can also find, you
Yes.
can find us on Facebook and Instagram, as
Yes.
well. Both
Okay.
the chamber as well.
Awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
ma'am. And we'll be sure to tag you as well. And then, like you all just heard, Mrs. Landeros and just all of her knowledge and wisdom she shared with us today about the Hispanic Chamber, about Casa Azul, about Hispanic Heritage Month. And we're super excited that she was able to take some time out and join us today. So we do thank you
Thank
again
you.
for that.
Thanks for
so
the
much.
Yes,
opportunity.
thank you so much for joining us today. We're here at Casa Azul. Be sure to get here. Be sure to remember how you can connect about Hispanic Heritage Month with the Hispanic Chamber and with us today. And so be sure to stay tuned as you enjoy this wonderful service that we have prepared for you in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. And we'll see you soon.